Hey everyone, welcome back to the Centered Leader Podcast, where our goal is to help you live a life as a leader centered on Christ. And today I am joined with the Shane Seegers. Shane, what is your middle name?
Christian. I was born a Christian.
You were born a Christian. Wow, there's the dad joke for the day, right? You got plenty more where that came from,
Unfortunately,
too. Huh?
I do.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am doing well as well. I see if I was about to say good, but then we had that discussion.
Did I say good? I did say I'm doing good.
You did it? No, you said well.
Oh, okay.
You said it properly.
Oh, good.
I was about to say it, yeah. We had that whole conversation a while back about the proper pronunciation.
You got to watch out for the grammar police.
That's
They'll
right.
get on you.
They will get you. Well, hey, today we are talking about a title and a topic that people probably don't struggle with. I know that you definitely, listening or watching to this, have never struggled with this, but can I say yes to everything?
No.
Yes. Wait. No.
It's been a short podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And here's the relatable question. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to everything and then realizing you're running on empty? And I think when we think about that, there's so many different tensions there of saying yes to everything and stuff of that nature. So, Shane, what would you say just right off the top? Can I say yes to everything?
Two things. No, we cannot say yes to everything. One, because we're finite. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times we have this Messiah complex, or we feel like we got to do what God wants. Well, God is infinite, but we're not. And so, while He can meet every need in a variety of ways and through a variety of people, we cannot meet every need. And so that's one thing. Just a clear answer is no, we can't. The other thing that, and I've talked about this several times with people, because it's one of the few things that I really know. Yeah. And it took me 4 years to remember this statement.
Yeah.
But and I have to use hand signals to get it right. But when your output exceeds your input, your upkeep becomes your downfall.
Yeah.
And if you're saying yes to everything, I can guarantee that you're not having enough input to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So just those two things, no, it's not possible. And of course, then we feel guilty about that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so let's start from the top here. Number one, Jesus modeled the healthy limits with people even. You look at a bunch of different passages, but one that really came to my mind when thinking about this is where he talks about and it's in Mark, Luke, where he often withdrew to spend time with the Father. It was usually after something big, a big teaching, a big miracle, a big moment where he was with a lot of people and a lot of interactions. He withdrew. There was a time where he was not being selfish, but actually being purposeful with his time.
Yeah, there were two things actually with that story, because one, that was right after he healed Peter's mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And then the whole town started bringing all the sick people. And so he was healing till late at night. Finally, I guess everybody went to bed, and he went to bed, but he woke up early and withdrew. Yeah. And while he was withdrawing to go out, all the townspeople who hadn't gotten healed or knew other people showed up to get healed. And so the disciples are like, man, there's great ministry going on right here. Where's Jesus? And they go out looking for him. And they're like, so the thing I want to say about that is Jesus was doing good ministry, healing people, but he didn't heal everyone.
Yeah.
And then he actually went to pray, which, again, prayer is about alignment. It's about asking God's will. And he aligned with what God's purpose was for him. And he came back once the disciples found him, like, hey, there's people healing. And he goes, I didn't come here to heal. I came to proclaim the good news. And now there's other towns that we need to go to.
Yeah.
So, he didn't just heal everyone. And he's mentioned that other times in the Gospels. But he did stay on mission and in alignment with God's purpose for him. And so that actually meant saying no to some opportunities to keep doing what God wanted him to do.
Yeah. And people had opinions about what they wanted him to do, strong opinions, and what they didn't want him to do, right? And I think he felt that tension. And even there's a scripture where he talks about that I only do what the Father.
Mm-hmm. What I see the Father doing or say what I hear the Father saying, Yeah. There's a lot of people, they'll have a wonderful plan for your life and they'll want you to do it. But again, it's what's most important is making sure that we're doing what God's called us to do.
Yes.
And
Yeah. No, and I always say that too when somebody's kind of in that tension, like, hey, you might have to say, and this isn't original to me, you've probably heard it before, but you might have to say no to something good in order to say yes to something great. Yeah. And there's been many a times in my life where I'm like, oh, this is a good thing, but then like God's like, hey, but it's not a great thing. And and not that, one or the other, not that awkward tension of like, oh, I just need to do great things. No, like whatever your level or scale of good and great is, but saying that you may even be saying some yes to or no to something good, but it could be hindering you from something that God, like you said, actually has aligned and planned for your life.
Yeah. And sometimes I think also is just having wisdom about how much you can say yes to, because sometimes it is something that God wants you to do, but it might be a need that's much bigger than what you can handle for, by yourself, especially if it's something that's a long-term need that needs to keep being met. And so sometimes you might be able to do not all of it, and we feel guilty for that.
Yeah.
But you might be able to do something. And so that's another part of this whole thing. No, we can't say yes to everything, but just because you can't say yes to everything doesn't always mean you should say no to all of it too.
Yes.
It's a tension that we have to figure out how to manage.
Yeah, I've seen those extremes, and you've probably seen it too. Even in the ministry world, we went through and I watched it kind of unfold as I was coming into ministry as a teen and stuff, and see where all these pastors were like having burnout, quote unquote, and that was the big buzzword in ministry, leadership, and in leadership in general. Burnout, got to protect yourself, focus on self-care, and all those things. And yes, things are important, but I think now we've gone to the other extreme where it's like, oh, I just can't do anything because I just, and I would just caution you with that. I'm saying take care of yourself. Yes. Rest. Yes. Pray. Yes. Spend time with your family. Yes. Prioritize the things you need to prioritize. Yes. But don't let that become an excuse for serving God or doing things that maybe God is calling you to do.
Right. Of course. And I like that added dimension, even though it makes things a little bit more complicated. But again, that's what Christianity is. It's a personal relationship where we're walking in trust with a living person inside of us, Jesus. And so we don't rely upon our own wisdom and understanding. We're seeking him. We're following what he says. And so sometimes we could have that extreme. I say no to all these things except this. And we're living by these exterior rules or principles. And we can do that on either side. Yeah. That's why, Christianity is not just about it's about a dependent relationship on God who speaks to us and leads us. And if there's anything, I want to say, yes, we have to have wisdom, but he is our wisdom. So lean into him, ask him, pray. He will direct your steps and will show you how to accomplish the things that he wants you to do.
Yeah. Do you think that we tie our worth and who we are in what we do?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
and I think it comes back to this.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a society, in a culture that awards performance, and so we get a lot of worth and recognition and stuff from what we do, and so we always want people to think well of us. Yeah.
So I've never seen an award ceremony where they give it out and we're like, hey, here's an award for spending quality time with your family.
Right.
Here's an award for it's usually, hey, here's an award for burning up the midnight hour and staying in the office till 12 o'clock each night. And and there's seasons where you do have to get after it, but what do you want to be known for? And then the other reflection question, I guess, for all of us is what's really motivating your yes? I think that plays into it a lot, and you kind of touched on that early on. Is it your gut? Is it your emotions? Or is it God actually pressing on your heart and mind, hey, this is what I want for you?
Yeah. Or even not wanting someone to think poorly of you, or you're really being controlled by their opinion of you, and sometimes that can cause us to keep doing stuff. And I think a good way to kind of measure that is, how do you feel after you do it? Yeah. Do you feel frustrated and angry that you got talked into doing something again? That's probably a sign that you're doing it for the wrong motive.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a good indicator. What is the cost of too many yeses? Well, number one, burnout and resentment, neglect of rest, family, personal, spiritual growth, lack of effectiveness, and what really matters. And then this is a quote that I've always loved when it comes to saying yes to everything in business. If the enemy can't make you bad, he'll make you busy.
Oh, yeah.
And gosh, we see that in culture everywhere. I mean, the more problems somebody has, the faster that they're going to want to go in life because every time they sit idle and every time they sit down, then they start thinking about those things. But if I can go as fast as I can go, and if I can stay as busy as possible, then I don't have to think about my family. I don't have to think about my marriage. I don't have to think about my problems. I don't have to think about my selfishness. Don't have to think about my sin. Yeah, it's getting real in here. And that's just a reality. The faster that I go, the less that I have to think. And I think it's in those moments, and Jesus even modeled this for us. It's in those moments of withdrawing with the Father and realizing, hey, where am I at spiritually? Where's my mind at? Where's my heart at? What's my motives?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's all good. Again, it's so complicated because I just really think we need to pray about each and every opportunity because you're right. I've heard that the enemy of the best is the good.
Yeah.
A lot of times Satan doesn't tempt us with something bad. He just tempts us with something good that will keep us from doing the best thing. And that's another cost of too many yeses is that you won't be effective.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we talked about a lot of the physical cost of your body and your family and time. But even what you're trying to accomplish, if you're saying yes to everything, you can't do everything well.
Yes.
And so, and I pray that God will lead me, but sometimes the wisdom that he uses in that is, do less to do more.
Yeah.
And then I have to really pray, if I'm focusing in on these things because these are the ultimate priorities, show me which ones those are.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I don't know percentage time-wise, but they're like 80% of Jesus' time was spent with 12 disciples, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's recorded in his ministry years is that, he did minister to the crowds, but that was not his primary focus. In fact, he would do it and then he'd withdraw to rest and to recharge and refocus the disciples on what's really important.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just always building a crowd or meeting those immediate needs, because at the end of the day, that what you win people with is what you have to keep people with.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to just get a whole group of people who were just there because they could get bread or he wanted people who are going to be about seeking his kingdom over any other kingdom. So that's a more challenging call.
Yeah, absolutely. Learning the power of a purposeful no. How do we do that? Well, number one, a healthy no creates space for your best yes. Example, as a Connect group leader, you don't have to attend every church event. Your primary calling is to care for your group. Would we love for you to be at every event? Absolutely. But as a Connect group leader, don't feel, and even that tension, like as somebody on staff, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to be here, family movie night, Fall Fest, all the, and stuff. And don't let that overwhelm you. Let that be a blessing, not a burden.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things that you're helping our Connect group leaders to do, even in much better job than I did in that, is giving the whole calendar at the beginning of a semester to our group leaders so you can begin to prioritize, okay, these are things that we know definitely fall within what we want to do as a group. And again, it doesn't mean that you say no to everything else, but then you can begin to fit the other things around. It's kind of like the what's the guy who did the illustration of you put the big rocks in? Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, mine just went
I
blank.
forget. Yeah,
but,
what you're talking about.
If your life's like a glass container and you put sand and the small pebbles in, you don't have enough room to put the big rocks in. But if you put the big rocks in first, then you have more space and stuff that you can put the smaller things in, and it all fits in there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great help that you're giving them, allowing them to be able to prioritize what they're going to say yes to.
Yeah.
Because we don't believe that you can do every single event or activity.
No.
But those are all good needs. We want to give people an opportunity to do what they're being led to be a part of.
Yes. And there may be a time where you equip somebody else in your group to lead your group to an event. Like, hey, I've got some, life happens. You've got a scheduled event. Hey, I'm not going to be there, but just because I'm not going to be there doesn't mean my group doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, here's what's going on in my life. Hey, Ted, will you lead the group there? And will you guys be there and send me pictures? I don't want to be, communication goes a long way, especially with that. And something you said earlier made me think of this line: whenever you say yes to something, you're automatically saying no to other things. Kind of about the big rock thing. Like when you say yes, you're automatically saying no to something else too as well. So that's another mentality.
Yeah.
To kind of approach.
Because last time I checked, I can't be at two places at once, and I can't, And we won't even get into the fact about what men do when it comes to multitasking, the inability to do it completely.
We don't multitask. I don't even know how to spell that. No. So questions to help you decide what to say yes to. Number one, does this align with what God has called me to right now? I'll say this to leaders often. I said it to a lot of our student Connect group leaders. I always want to vision cast this to student leaders, because student ministry, man, working with students, it's taxing. Any leadership is taxing, right? The great Nick Saban, if you wanna be friends with everybody and have it easy, then go sell ice cream. Don't be a leader, right? But the reality is, I always tell them this: hey, this is not your forever, but this is your right now. And as a Connect group leader, maybe you won't be a Connect group leader forever. Maybe eventually you'll move into a different leadership role and stuff of that nature. But this is your right now. So focus on, hey, what is God aligning me to right now? Yeah. Will this help me grow or stretch in a healthy way? Will this take away from my current priorities, family, group, health? Has God given me peace about this? What else would you say? What are some other deciding factors?
Let me say something about that. Has God given me peace about this? Because, again, this is one of those, where, not to make it more or less clear, this is, again, one of those questions where we need wisdom and discernment, because sometimes there are things that I know God has specifically called me to do. It is not one of those things I need to say no to. It is something I need to say yes to, and it scares the heck out of me.
Yes.
I don't have peace about it at all going into it. In fact, peace would be for me running away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would give you peace.
And what I want to say, so again, that's one of those things where you always have to have wisdom. It's a good rule of thumb. If I have peace about this is what God wants me to do. But I will tell you, there are things that I know that God calls each and every one of us to do that scare us and don't give us peace. And peace doesn't come before we do it. Actually, peace comes either in the midst or after we've done it.
Yeah.
And so I just, again, that's more about faith than it is feelings. It's more about trusting God than just looking at my feelings, what I feel about it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that, especially because, like you said, your feelings can often lead you astray in that. And the peaceful thing in your mind would be to flee, run from it.
Yeah.
But I would say, too, with that, some of the things that I've wanted to say no to, but really calculated through scripture and prayer and really come to the conclusion, hey, I have no reason to say no to this right now. I'm available. It's in the skill set in which God has called me to, gifted me to. I'm passionate about it, etc. What's the reason I'm wanting to say no? And then I say yes, sometimes reluctantly. But then once I do it, or once I'm there, I'm like, oh my gosh, now I see why
God wanted me to do
this. Yeah. So, and you've had those moments too. So you just have to, once again, you have to discern and be really wise in those moments.
I used to challenge our staff about. Sometimes our biggest ministry opportunities come and they're not planned. They're actually just a response to something that pops up. We're all busy. We all have obligations. We can't say yes to everything that pops up. But I do like to lean into, what if I was just to say yes to this one? Just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to say I'm going to say yes to everything that pops up. But sometimes the best ministry things happen on things that weren't on my to-do list. They were just things that just came up, and sometimes I can't do it, but sometimes I can be a little bit inconvenienced and then just get a huge blessing out of it.
Yes. And this even goes back to, your 7, that list that we went over, something like, but how
it was
you
life
respond.
Changing, wasn't
No,
it?
it was, I was trying to think of the wording of it, but almost like, hey, don't judge my intentions. I'll do that myself. You know, that list,
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
But even when you say no to somebody, don't be so fearful what they're going to think of you. You cannot, if you haven't figured this out, which I know we all struggle with this, but you cannot control what people think about you.
Yeah.
You can control your own emotions and your own reactions. You cannot control other people, no matter how much you try and think you can.
And really, they might think something about you in that minute, but at the end of the day, they're probably really not thinking about you at all. They're probably just thinking about themselves.
Yes.
So so someone told me that one time, and that's given me a lot of peace.
Yes.
Because it's true. I think a lot about myself because that's what we do. We think about ourselves. So if we're thinking about ourselves a lot, we think someone else thinks about us a lot. The reality is they're thinking about themselves as much as you think about yourself. So they probably have moved on a lot quicker from what might seem like a disappointment, you not being able to help, than you carrying that, well, what do they think of me because I didn't do it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very much so.
Good.
Very much so. So creating margin, rest and rhythm are spiritual disciplines. Shane and myself, Shane more so talks about the rhythms and the pathways. And if you guys aren't familiar with that, we go over that frequently, and we'll continue to go over that until you know it and can write it in your sleep and in your dreams.
Yeah.
Right. But the rhythms, there's different rhythms in life, and there's different things that we're challenged as believers. And one of them is creating margin, definitely in our lives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like you can't say yes to every opportunity. This is another reason why we put time or limits on even the semester for a Connect group. Because you're running for 12 weeks, you're going. Then you need to rest.
Yeah.
It's just like if you keep working out every day, the same thing, your body doesn't recover the way that it should to get the rewards from doing all that work. It's the same thing spiritually. So you need the rhythms of stopping and resting. And again, Jesus modeled that.
Yes.
After he would withdraw, he would sleep.
Yep.
Sometimes he was so tired he would sleep in things you're going, how in the world can you sleep in this circumstance? But he knew the need to recharge.
Yeah. I want you just to be reminded of this when you're thinking about saying yes to specific things and saying no to specific things. You may still overcommit sometimes, and that's okay, but learn from it. And I think that's really where you grow the most, is because you start learning. You're like, wow, I shouldn't have said yes to this. But you don't have to jump ship on those things all the time. You can strategically and gracefully communicate with those people and say, hey, honesty is the best policy in that. Yeah. Like, I've gone to people and said, hey, I thought I could do this, but I can't. And here's why. I just want to let you know. It's nothing against you, nothing. It's just, it's really my schedule and stuff. I've had leaders come to me and say that, and I'm so thankful for that. Just communication. Clarity is kindness.
Yeah,
it really is, and especially in these moments. So don't overthink it with that, and just realize you've got to set your priorities and figure that out too. Because some people just don't have the priorities are just all over the board.
Yeah. And it could be priorities, but I think a big thing is, there's a huge desire in many people to be a people pleaser.
Yes.
And so we're not even trying to accomplish certain priorities. We're just really trying to fulfill that one thing. I don't want to let anybody down. I want to make you cannot meet everyone's expectations. Yeah. It's impossible.
Have you read the book, what is it called? Be Mean About the Vision, or Mean About the Vision, or whatever?
No, I haven't read it.
But it's not telling you to actually be mean, but what it's saying is be so focused on the vision, be so focused on the mission and vision that whatever does not align with that just is an automatic no in general. And I think sometimes we struggle with that too. Well, I could do this, and this could lead to this. Well, no. Number one, where's your mission and vision at? Here at Centerpoint, we've got them clearly outlined. We've got them clearly stated. We know the direction we're going. We know the vision, the mission that God has called us to. And so when you know that, too, that clears up a lot of those. But you have to get there first and figure out, hey, where are we going as a family? Where are we going as a Connect group? And then once you figure that out, your yeses and your nos start to get a lot easier.
Right.
Key Bible verses that I just want to share with you. Matthew 11:28 and 30. Come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you
rest.
Boom. Be still and know that I am
God.
Boom. Galatians 6:9. Do not grow weary in doing
good.
Boom. Ephesians 2:10. We are God's handiwork, created to
do good works in Christ Jesus.
Yes, that he has prepared for us. And so those are just passages that I want to remind you of and just let you kind of just sit with. Like, we're not called to stay stagnant. We're not called to always retreat when it gets tough. That's not what we're saying here. But we're also not saying that you have to do everything and spiritually and physically and emotionally bankrupt yourself.
Yeah. And again, this is another reason why we do groups.
Yes.
Connect groups. Because you can't do everything. There are certain things that are just too big for one individual to carry by themselves. And this is one of the wonderful things about doing ministry together.
Mm-hmm.
God allows all of us to do a part, and so it will all get done.
Yeah. And you hit that, I think, beautifully in Next Steps too. Shane always goes through a portion talking about, hey, there's many needs in the church, and we can't, collectively we can meet those, but individually we can't.
Right.
So keep that in mind too. Number one, you're serving in a group. Man, that has radically changed my mindset about groups. You sharing that thought a couple podcasts ago, and I'll reiterate it here. Shane shared this. I think we were talking about serving. The topic was, but you are serving when you go to Connect Group. And I truly believe that, because you're caring for one another, you're praying for one another, you're doing life with one another, you're serving the community, you're serving each other.
And you're giving them an opportunity to grow as well by being present. So, it's not just, we do fellowship and we attend. I mean, you are actively participating in ministry when you're a part of a group.
Yes.
And again, that's going to help you to make sure the ministry's done, even when you individually can't say yes to everything. Being a part of a group can ensure that, well, let's see what each of us can do, and maybe God can do something more than we could do by ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hey, you guys stay encouraged. If you guys need anything, please reach out. And as always, continue to lead strong. We'll see you on the next one.